How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new video. Make sure that you're following us on Snapchat so that you can stay connected, or Twitter. Any social media really works. Links in the description. Alright, let's get into it. This video is about Tron TRX. Really, when it comes to decentralizing the internet and seeing these various different platforms that we at one point knew and loved, called YouTube and Facebook and all these different platforms, even Twitter, these different platforms are coming to a steady but sure decline, and this is very sad. It's sad to see the fact that YouTube and Google didn't manage to satisfy their content creators, didn't manage to satisfy their user base, because these websites, these platforms had such a great potential to leverage the audience base that was already accustomed, grew up, and loved these various different platforms, and Twitter included is very guilty of a lot of these different things. Now, of course, aside from all that, we do see Facebook in the news dealing with a lot of the different problems that they themselves have to deal with now, and ultimately this is leading to a gradual and steady downward movement of these old platforms, a steady decline. And what potential comes from this? Well, Tron and Steam and these DTube platforms, these alternative platforms, actually provide a real opportunity for cryptocurrency to overtake these various different platforms and provide a reasonable solution to the steady but sure decline that we've been seeing happening to YouTube, where people aren't really getting notified of the videos that they subscribe to and aren't getting notified about the subscribers and the channels and so forth, and the community suffers as a result. But there is an opportunity for these platforms like Tron and these platforms like Steam and these various different alternatives that leverage cryptocurrency to ultimately rise and overtake these different platforms. And as we move forward into the year of 2019, the year of 2020, I'm fairly confident that we will be seeing this will be evident in the media, just as all these other various different things have been evident, and it's going to be really interesting to see how cryptocurrency rises and really changes the game across the board for a lot of these different platforms. And one of my favorite YouTubers is the Crypto Twins, CRYPTOT. Yeah, so Crypto Twins. These guys are funny. These guys are really smart too. But I would recommend these guys. They talk about Tron. They talk about the the future of the internet, as things go, and it is really interesting to see how Tron and Steam and all these different variables have been coming together, in a really interesting way. And it is interesting to see these various different things happening all in 2018. I find it interesting looking at all the different news articles that revolve around the various different cryptocurrencies that I'm interested in. Tron. 3 reasons why Tron is on the brink of a bull run, from Global Coin Report. Now, this is interesting because Tron is often in the news. Tron seems to get a lot of attention from the news, significantly because there's a really strong community built around Tron, and it is interesting to see how this technology has really been challenging the greater opportunity, because you really have to think about how Tron really rose up from in a short amount of time. I mean, Tron definitely has put in its work. So I know a lot of people have been going through questioning times involving the fact that we have the $250 billion. I mean, of course, there is a lot of optimism going along the way too. I mean, we are seeing a lot of these different technologies performing in ways that have really been really substantial, and then there's also people out there who say that the bottom has already been hit, that we've seen the absolute bottom. And personally, I would say that there's a little bit more to go. And that's just my personal opinion, of course. But there are people out there who have more optimistic approaches to the situation. But I try not to get distracted by those sort of variables, because ultimately, when it boils down to it, the bottom is very, very questionable to a large extent. It really depends on a multitude of variables. And when we're talking about every single one of the technologies on this list, I mean, I might be wrong. I mean, I'd be willing to eat my words there. I'd be willing to, completely and totally take credibility for what I said. But at the end of the day, you really have to do your own research and come to your own conclusions. But I've seen this space go up and then go down and then go up and then go down and then all over the place, and it's all cryptocurrencies. I'm not even talking about any particular one at this point. In particular, I mean, of course, Bitcoin takes a lot of the attention away from the other ones. But hey, I mean, it happens all the way across the board with this new developing space. So when you take into consideration the fact that we've been seeing all these different levels of volatility and all these different variables coming together, because cryptocurrency takes into consideration international variables that ultimately are going to reshape the way that we've seen society developing and coming to this point. It's interesting to see the different performances that have made these various different things possible. And of course, when you take into consideration Tron and the dynamics that have been happening with the internet and the various different ways that we've been seeing the internet developing and the various different platforms that actually provide media on the internet in a substantial way, and ultimately cryptocurrency stands to reshape the fundamental foundation of the way that these things function. And as we see the decline of platforms like Twitter, we see the decline of platforms like Facebook, we see the decline of CNN, we see the decline of Fox News, we're seeing the end of cable and all these different things. Retail outlets are coming to an end, and even YouTube itself is coming to an end, ladies and gentlemen. You need to take into consideration the fact that Instagram has taken a large proportion of the audience. Now, don't get me wrong, YouTube and Google still remain large companies, still very influential as far as media providing goes, but I digress. To a large extent, this does open up a large market as we see these different companies like YouTube take into consideration the fact that YouTube has a reputation of treating their audience a certain way. I don't even need to go into detail about it. I'm sure you've had your own your own circumstances that involve the YouTube terms of the terms of service and the way that they provide their content. And ultimately, I think that the time is good for Tron. I think the time is good for cryptocurrency in general. Ultimately, has a great opportunity to overtake a lot of these different spaces across the board. And when it comes to looking forward to seeing what Tron is ultimately doing, I really think that there's a great community that's built around Tron. Now, I was watching this really interesting video by Cryptotone, and I will actually include a link to Cryptotone's video down in the description. I've watched this video about twice now, and it's really interesting to see these different things that have been happening involving Tron, and I think that it's really important for people to start populating these websites and of course these alternative media websites that ultimately provide a different level of people can essentially get a better their service is provided a little bit. But I mean, when you think about you take into consideration Steam and DTube and how much success they've been able to have because they've essentially leveraged the decentralized feature when it comes to the overall user experience, I think that this has ultimately outperformed websites like Twitter and YouTube, and ultimately this might be the Achilles heel of Google. But yeah, I mean, I'll definitely include a link to this video. It goes into detail regarding a lot of the different things we've been talking about in this video already, going into detail regarding Tron and what's been happening, evolving there. And also, thanks to this channel right here, I'm actually going to be providing a link to this video right here by Aimstone, and this is a really interesting video that talks about the intrinsic value of Bitcoin, and I think that this video is really cool. I just decided myself to put the link in the description, so if you want to check that out as well, that's up to you as well. And of course, make sure that you guys are following Tron and of course Justin Sun on Twitter. Twitter really is a great resource for staying up to date regarding these technologies. Tron has their own Twitter, of course it's verified and everything, so if you guys want, and then I mean, you guys can also connect with us on Twitter as well. Our Twitter is at CryptoTuber. We'll actually be including a link to Twitter that gets you right in connection with us, so if you guys are interested, our other Twitter is as well. It is Crypto Clout. But yeah, all that being said, I mean, I am looking forward to seeing what's happening with Tron as things continue to develop and move forward. And respectively, when you take into consideration the various different potentials that are in store for these decentralized media platforms that leverage cryptocurrency, I really think the sky's the limit when it comes to these things, especially when you take into consideration Justin Sun very much is one of those geniuses, and I think people in the United States are starting to realize how much of a genius he is. I mean, people are getting tired of John McAfee. I like him. I mean, he's a cool guy in and of himself. I mean, this video is not even about him. He's really a good proponent of really supporting the sort of sentiment that we're putting forth when we look at people like Justin Sun and what's happening with Tron and the decentralization of these different platforms and the various different potentials that are in store for them. And of course, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice. This video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. That's just a standard disclaimer. Remember, I'm not your dad. At the end of the day, you can make whatever decision you want. I mean, you could use YouTube, you could use Steam, you could use you could get involved with any of these different, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, I don't really care, what I mean, at the end of the day. But I mean, you look at the global market cap, it is interesting to see how cryptocurrency has been developing along this various different trends and patterns. Nonetheless, and of course, Tron, all these different memes, Justin Sun memes, of course, good comedy, is important in this space. Anyways, yeah, make sure you follow Justin Sun, and you can always connect with us on Twitter as well. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. On the internet